All right, what's going on there, folks? Good evening, or good afternoon, excuse me. It is the Earthmaster here on this Sunday, November 12th, 2023 date. It is about 11:19 a.m. here, California time. Latest activity here on the Earthquake 3D globe. Let's see what we got going on. Where's the green flag? Oh, there we go. 2.6 down here into the South America region. Chile area, it looks like, is the latest activity here on the globe. Now, we did see some further earthquake activity ramping up there into the Iceland region overnight. The latest informational statement put out here by the Icelandic Meteorological Office here. This is the official site to monitor when it comes to the ongoing activity there across the Iceland region with volcano activity. Looks like there's been, since midnight, around 1,000 earthquakes or so within the dike. That's this magma intrusion area, about 15 kilometers long or so. Most of these earthquakes have been below 3.0 in magnitude, and most of these earthquakes are occurring at a depth of about 3 to 5 kilometers, corresponding to the lower part of the dike intrusion. Now, the GPS measurements covering the last 24 hours show that deformation associated with the dike intrusion has slowed slightly, but that just don't let that down. Don't let that guard down. This can be an indication that magma is moving closer to the surface. New models will be run as soon as new data comes in to update the model. They did allow what looks like some folks to go in to part of a restricted area. Why does this keep going up here? Hold on a second. This thing has an automatic play sound here. But it looks like they allowed some areas to be inhabited to retrieve vital items, pets, and livestock, which is being controlled by the police force there. There is permission only. This permission only applies to this specific area right here. So, yeah, things are still ongoing here. Latest earthquake map here shows in the last 6 hours, 224 earthquakes. The area of interest here around the Grindavik area of Iceland, where this volcanic dike is located. You can see it here in this line. Still shows earthquake activity occurring directly through the town. Now, that's definitely of concern here. I've seen a couple photos floating around on social media this morning of a couple cracks coming in here to the ground of the southern portion of the Grindavik area of Iceland. Now, I haven't seen anything listed yet on their website. This website right here, the official folks. I think take that with some thought there, because a lot of people like to, hopefully that wasn't going over the stream, like to fearmonger a little bit, but it looks legit. I'll let you guys look for it. It's on Facebook. I shared it onto my Facebook page, but unsure on if those are legit little cracks or not. If they've been there before, I don't know. But I haven't seen anything specifically mentioned here from the official website that is monitoring this activity. Doesn't mean that there isn't any, but maybe they're just keeping this off of there for now. But there's the dike area, the region where they think the eruption is going to kick off. Here's the Google Earth view. It does show that it runs very close, if not underneath, a portion of the northern area of the Grindavik area of Iceland. It's very close also to the Blue Lagoon tourist spot up here, and also a hydrothermal plant, power plant up here. Very close. So kind of watching that. And so far there is no eruption, but obviously it's getting close. Earthquake activity continuing in this area, along with potential cracks there on the southern edge. Now, there's always that possibility here of magma reaching out here into the ocean waters, the colder ocean waters, and creating, well, heat and cold do not mix very well. That could create some type of little explosive activity out here. Steam, what are they called? Steam flash out here, if that does take place in the ocean. But again, this could happen in the coming hours or coming days. They do mention about the extent of the dike, that the likelihood of a submarine eruption has also increased. So preparations must be made for the possibility of explosive activity. And of course, that is this line, this linear activity where they believe fissures would open up. And if it is indeed, those cracks showing up here south of the Grindavik area, that could be a little concerning for the town itself. So we'll continue to watch that and report back on any unusual conditions or any elevated further conditions here. But the latest activity, and this is the map to go to for it, this website right here, shows that the significant likelihood of a volcanic eruption in the coming days is significant. These guys are showing 1,000 earthquakes within the dike boundaries from midnight. Crazy. All right, let's get back into earthquake activity, see what we got going on here across the world. Remember, some of those earthquakes there not showing up on the USGS map. In fact, all of them don't look like they are. USGS only covers a certain area when it comes to all magnitudes of states and U.S. territories. EMSC does a decent job of covering some of the earthquakes there across Iceland. But some of this activity here, you have to go to a couple of these other Iceland quake sites there to see the all magnitudes here and all the multitude of quakes that are taking place here across this area, which still shows, again, quite elevated activity out there in the that area of Iceland. All right, let's get back to earthquake activity, see what we have going on here for worldwide movement. Largest magnitude here in the last 24 hours is going to be this one last night in the Papua New Guinea area. Seen a little swarm of activity here last night, kicking up. Looks like we did see one or two more after midnight. Last one, a 5.2. For the most part, the newer activity today has been back building over here around the Tonga region with some deeper activity once again here in the last hour or two. 4.4, 574 kilometers deep. There's some further movement over here around the Java Sea as well, so bouncing back and forth. But this area is showing some deeper scale movement now as well, so little concerning, because I think we're going to see that activity amplify across this region of the Java Trench. Last time we've seen some deeper scale activity out here, we've seen all that swarming around the Banda Sea region. So just be on guard here across Java Trench area for some uptick and some movement here taking place soon. Minimal activity across the western area here of the Pacific Plate. Just looks like a handful of smaller quakes. 4.5 early this morning into the Japan Trench. The Alaska area, well, a couple earthquakes here last night. 4.6 here around the Fox Islands, Aleutian Islands Trench region here. About 35 and 50 kilometers deep or so. Into the Pacific Northwest, minimal activity at best here. One earthquake outside of Mount Rainier. And the California area, a little spotty here. Let's see what we got for the all magnitudes. Looks like we've seen one earthquake here this morning near Tom's Place. That is just outside the Long Valley supervolcano here, 2.7 there in Southern California. Not any type of swarm going on, just a little bit of movement taking place there today in that area. Southern California further down, pretty quiet, aside from some smaller microquake activity down there. Yellowstone National Park, nothing showing up here on the map, but let's go check it out real quick, see what we have. Let's see here. Oh, we got a little bit of earthquake activity here across the southern edge here of the Yellowstone caldera, which is in this black outline here. See this earthquake activity there. Looks like it's situated around this station there, potentially. Those spikes on the graph there indicating that earthquake activity. That did show up here across quite a few seismograph stations earlier this morning. Nothing big. I believe those are all below the 2.0 threshold. Now, we probably won't see those show up on the map until Monday when a seismologist looks at these graphs here and adds them to the catalog. Most of the time, they set the threshold up here for preliminary earthquake data reporting to 2.5. So if it's not above 2.5, it will not get listed out here on the USGS map. All right, Texas area, still seeing some movement out here. Outside of Pecos, Texas, a lot of oil fields out here, still getting rocked out there, looks like. Center portion of the area, that includes the Caribbean plate. A couple earthquakes from yesterday, one today, just after midnight, a little bit further down south here in the Ecuador area, 4.7. South America region, a lot of earthquake activity yesterday. Latest one, though, shows a 4.2. Atlantic Ocean, we did have a 5.3 down here in the southern Atlantic Ocean area, divergent boundary. Things are definitely active out here across the north, we know that. Looks like things may be picking up down south as well. Mediterranean regions and areas across the Middle East look awfully quiet here today compared to normal. Only a handful of smaller quakes out there today. We'll definitely continue to watch the Iceland area and report back on any significant changes here. Space weather, what happened? What happened to the big time G2 solar storm? I seen it scattered all over the news articles there last night. Before, actually the past couple days, they kind of stated that this was going to be a pretty significant event. Well, there's a couple different things that did not come to play. I don't think we've seen a direct impact from that CME that was blasted off here a couple days ago, a few days ago now. It was Earth directed, but I believe along the Earth-Sun plane there was not a direct hit. Last night it only peaked up into the KP index of about a 4, not even a G1 class storm. Also, the association there with the interplanetary magnetic field, which is the IMF, the BZ component of that IMF was pointing north, which allows that solar weather activity to dodge us, so to speak. And a lot of times we need to see that BZ component tilting south. Now, we did see it a little bit here, but also notice this line up here indicating a northward component. And that allowed the magnetic field to do what it's supposed to do and block out the solar charged particles. So, unfortunately, that did not materialize last night. A lot of folks traveled to some of the northern tier states to see it, but it did not kick up. All right, what are we looking at far as space weather activity in the solar flare department? The latest magnetogram here shows a whole lot of nothingness. If we're in the solar maximum, goodness, I'd hate to see, well, we know what solar maximum or solar minimum looks like. A whole lot of nothingness. While we do have some solar sunspots here that may show potential life in terms of complexity, the rest of these are getting out of sight, out of mind. See you later. Adios. They're going to be drifting off to the western limb. And will definitely not be geo-effective whatsoever here. Now, the only region of concern is going to be this area right here, center disk. And that is going to be sunspot number, doesn't even have a name. It's been lonesome out there. An unnamed sunspot here for the last couple days. It has shown a little bit of growth, but not much. But I think that's the only region here that we're watching maybe for some development in terms of solar flare activity. Out around the eastern limb, we do have a couple regional sunspots way out there. It looks bright here on the UV filter ray, and that is showing some signs of some sunspot and maybe some flaring activity way out there on the eastern limb. But we won't know until a couple days here when we get a better look at any sunspots that may be coming around the bend. Right now, these are still somewhat elevated and overblown. C flare at 95% chance, M flare at 45, X flare a little overinflated, 5% chance there. So, Unfortunately, these weather events, space weather events, are sometimes can be a dud. And that's that. These G2 storm forecasts were coming from the big folks there, the Storm Prediction Center. Even the big folks can get it wrong, and that goes along with the weather as well. These weather models are reviewed by computer or reviewed by humans here, and they spit out model runs in terms of what they believe the weather is going to do, where it's going to go, where the rain's going to go, where the pressure differences are, how much wind's going to happen. And even these weather models are wrong a lot of times. I was hoping for a huge storm out here across the west coast, and a couple days ago it was looking pretty significant. Even the big folks were putting out 7-day outlooks saying that we're supposed to get some heavy-duty rainfall out here across Northern California. Well, that has backed off significantly. We went from about 3 to 4 inches to, we'll be lucky if we get 3/10 of an inch of rain from this system coming up now. What a complete bummer, right? So low pressure spinning off the coast here. That was supposed to be a little bit further inland. We'd be getting these accumulation rates out here, which are pretty impressive. But with that low pressure being more off the coast here, we're going to dodge a lot of that convection band here on the eastern side of that low. And we're still going to get some rain. Certain areas may see more than others. Looks like beginning on Tuesday, there's a little band coming in. Not much. Don't expect much here in my neck of the woods. And then, see, look at that. That was supposed to be parked right here. Crazy to think that how a couple hundred miles, few hundred miles there can make a huge difference. And the GFS model was more accurate than all the other models here in the past few days concerning this low pressure system. So a little bit more rain. Looks like Wednesday is going to be fairly dry for the most part. Maybe late Wednesday night into Thursday we get a little bit more rain. Not heavy. These are generally light accumulation rates there. Definitely less than an inch. Probably maybe, like I said, after all is said and done, maybe 3/10 of an inch of rain, maybe up to half an inch of rain here in my neck of the woods outside Chico, California. And that does linger around a little bit. You guys see that? So it looks like maybe even on Saturday and into the weekend we get a little bit more rain. So that's good news. Let's take a look at the precipitation accumulation out here and see what we have here. Sunday coming in. Where's Saturday, Sunday? So that's it. That's about it out here. Certain areas, if you're closer to the west, you're probably going to get more rainfall the closer you are to that low pressure system. Here in the Sacramento Valley, it looks like maybe some ranges of, these guys are maybe showing 1.5 inches over here around western side of the Sacramento Valley, up into the Coast Range. But once you get down into the valley, it's looking like maybe 1 inch or less for this area. But that's pretty good. This is a model run for the Saturday activity as well. So it looks like after all is said and done, maybe we could get 1 inch of rain, which is okay by me. I can handle that. I'd rather have 3 or 4 inches of rain. That's just how I am. I like the weather. But we'll take that over 70 or 80 degrees. And down the road, let's see what we got down the road here. Let me bring up the regions of the states and look at the, we'll keep it on the total accumulated precipitation because a lot is going on across portions of Texas as well. Look at Texas over the next 10 days or so. A lot of rain moving in here to the southern portion of the states, and that's very common during an El Nino phase. So might be seeing some signs of that. I'm just hoping that does shift a little bit further to the west coast area as far as that jet stream goes. It normally runs roughly like this here across the area. But a lot of rain coming into Texas, Pacific Northwest as well. Far as the symbols go, let me go back here to the upper dynamics and look at what's going on out here in terms of high pressure and low pressure. Well, you guys are going to be pretty warm out here across the middle of the country, almost the entire eastern portion of the country there as we head into next week. That is going to linger around for a little bit. Low pressure again off here in the west coast. Not seeing any dramatic high pressure building in across the west. If anything, that's going to be way down south here. As we head towards the middle or further into the middle and the end of November, it looks like some pressure differences remaining neutral, but low pressure potentially dominating areas here across the western areas of the state. So that's good news for rainfall and whatnot, but I'm not seeing any huge dip in the jet stream. So we'll definitely continue to watch that and monitor the weather activity out there. Take one more quick glance here at the activity there in Iceland. Again, they are expecting an eruption here anytime now. Just a matter of time here. I lost my where's it at? Oh, there we go. I lost my Iceland station up here. I'm not for sure what's going on. I don't know if it's offline or what, but I can't get it to key up. We were watching some data coming in here, but it shows no data available now as far as earthquake activity goes. So kind of neat to watch that on a live seismograph station, but there may be something going on. Or maybe they shut down power. I don't know specifically. But that is offline, and I'm not for sure if we're going to get it back. So just have to deal with the seismograph stations that we have here on the screen and go with these sites here from the Iceland folks when it comes to monitoring the earthquake activity. Again, in the last 6 hours, 242 earthquakes around this area of the map that they monitor. And no doubt quite a bit here, right, around that area of concern around the Grindavik area of Iceland. Got a lot going on here. I wish I had some boots on the ground out there. I wish I had someone that was able to clue me in on what's going on. I would love to fly out there. I don't know how close they're letting news reporters and whatnot in here, but I think that would be awesome to witness if this is indeed, going to play out like they say it's going to play out here with the potential eruption along that line right there, like literally underneath the north part of the Grindavik area. Crazy. But I don't know. All right, folks, I'm going to jump off here. When it happens, if it happens, we'll definitely chime in. We'll know about it. Of course, we'll be doing update videos about it. We'll catch you guys back here a little bit later on this evening. Enjoy what's left of the weekend. Take care, folks, and stay safe out there.